Sean "Diddy" Combs, one of the most iconic and influential figures in modern music, once stood at the pinnacle of pop culture. From launching superstar artists to running multimillion-dollar businesses, he became a symbol of ambition, luxury, and the American dream. But in recent months, that image has unraveled spectacularly. Accusations of sexual abuse, human trafficking, racketeering, and threats of violence have turned the mogul's legacy into one of the most chilling stories in celebrity history. Born on November 4, 1969, in Harlem, New York, Sean Combs lost his father at a young age, a reputed associate of a notorious drug dealer who was shot and killed. That trauma shaped him, and he carried a hunger for success into adulthood. After attending Howard University, Combs started as an intern at Uptown Records, where he quickly rose through the ranks. By 1993, he founded Bad Boy Records, a label that would redefine hip-hop. With artists like the notorious B.I.G., Mase, 112, and Faith Evans, Diddy wasn't just making hits, he was building a culture. His charisma, business savvy, and relentless drive made him more than just a producer. He became a fashion icon with a Sean John clothing line, a liquor mogul with Ciroc vodka, and even a media owner with Revolt TV. Sean Combs wasn't just in the room, he owned it. But as his empire grew, so did whispers about his behavior. Industry insiders hinted at his explosive temper, controlling relationships, and a nightlife that blurred ethical lines. For decades, these rumors stayed just that, whispers, until one woman's lawsuit broke the silence. In November 2023, Cassie, an R&B singer and model who had been in a relationship with Combs for over a decade, filed a bombshell lawsuit. In it, she accused him of rape, physical abuse, and coercion. She alleged that their relationship was one of psychological manipulation and surveillance. According to Cassie, Combs exerted extreme control over her life, isolated her from friends and family, and forced her to engage in unwanted sexual acts, often with strangers, while he filmed. She described a horrifying experience of grooming, where what began as professional mentorship quickly became a prison of control. He allegedly beat her, drugged her, and threatened to destroy her career if she ever left or spoke out. The lawsuit also claimed that Combs paid male sex workers to violate her in front of him, events referred to as freak-offs, and that she was recorded during these instances without consent. The lawsuit was settled in less than 24 hours. This quick settlement raised eyebrows. Many interpreted it as an admission of guilt, even though Diddy's legal team denied the allegations and said they chose to settle to avoid a prolonged legal battle. But it was too late. The silence had been broken. Following Cassie's lawsuit, more accusers came forward. Within weeks, at least 5 other lawsuits were filed against Combs. These included allegations from former employees, artists, and associates. The stories were disturbingly similar: abuse of power, coercion, threats, and in some cases, underage victims. A disturbing picture began to form, not of a flawed man who made mistakes, but of someone who allegedly used his wealth and status to manipulate, exploit, and terrorize others for decades. Federal authorities began paying attention. In March 2024, Homeland Security Investigations, HSI, along with other federal agencies, launched coordinated raids on Combs' properties in Los Angeles, Miami, and New York. Helicopters hovered overhead as agents swarmed his homes. What they found would deepen the investigation. Reports from the raids suggested authorities uncovered firearms, hard drives with encrypted footage, narcotics, and other evidence that potentially linked Combs to trafficking and distribution networks. What started as civil lawsuits had now become a federal criminal case. Days later, Combs was taken into custody at a private airport, where he was allegedly trying to flee to the Bahamas. Prosecutors argued that he posed a flight risk and requested that he be held without bail, a request that was granted. Combs has remained behind bars since. The trial began in early May 2025. Prosecutors presented Combs as the ringleader of a criminal enterprise that used fame and influence to recruit, exploit, and silence victims. The courtroom became a parade of harrowing testimony, from young women who said they were promised music careers but were instead groomed for sex, to employees who described covering up beatings and disposing of evidence. Cassie took the stand and provided emotional, detailed accounts of her decade-long ordeal. She described being beaten in hotel rooms, forced into sexual acts, and threatened with blackmail. She claimed Combs had a network of enablers who helped him find new victims, monitor his partners, and maintain an illusion of respectability. The jury watched videos, read text messages, and reviewed financial documents that seemed to support her claims. One of the most explosive moments came when rapper Kid Cudi testified. He said that in 2012, after he was rumored to be romantically linked with Cassie, his car mysteriously exploded outside his house. According to Cudi, Combs had earlier warned him to stay away from Cassie, and shortly after, the car blew up. Though Cudi never directly accused Combs of planting the device, the implication was chilling, and the courtroom gasped when he revealed the timeline. Even more bizarre testimony followed. A former chef described Diddy demanding meals at 3 a.m. and throwing food if it didn't meet his standards. A bodyguard detailed a private jet trip, during which Combs allegedly forced women to strip naked and parade up and down the aisle as he filmed them. Several staff members said that Combs would use private investigators to track people, tap phones, and blackmail those who tried to leave his circle. The prosecution described Combs' homes as being equipped with surveillance systems, not for safety, but for leverage. Rooms allegedly had hidden cameras, and victims were told that their freak-off sessions were being recorded. These recordings were reportedly stored on encrypted drives found during the March raids. Prosecutors say Combs used these videos to control people, threatening to release them if victims ever talked. But the case wasn't only about sex crimes. Federal agents also linked Combs to a broader criminal network. They claimed he laundered money through various shell companies and possibly trafficked narcotics through club promoters and overseas parties. Though not all of these charges have been officially filed, they are part of the larger investigation that could continue for years. Combs' defense team has fought back aggressively. They've portrayed the case as a witch hunt, a media-fueled attack on a successful black entrepreneur. They claim the evidence is circumstantial, that the videos could have been altered, and that the witnesses are all motivated by money, revenge, or fame. They've questioned the credibility of accusers who took years to come forward and have pointed out inconsistencies in some testimonies. But public opinion has shifted. Once hailed as a trailblazer, Combs has been all but erased from pop culture. Brands have severed ties. Award shows have revoked honors. His once loyal followers on social media have turned critical. Even celebrities who built their careers alongside him have remained silent or issued vague statements, distancing themselves. The bad boy era that once defined a generation now sits in the shadows of controversy. In an unexpected twist, several artists have come forward with regrets. Former collaborators have shared cryptic messages online, implying they knew something was wrong but didn't feel powerful enough to speak. Others have begun sharing their own experiences, not always involving Diddy directly, but part of the toxic culture that allowed abuse to flourish in the music industry. Commentators have drawn comparisons to other fallen icons, R. Kelly, Harvey Weinstein, Russell Simmons. But the Diddy case feels different because of how long he was celebrated, and how integrated he was in every corner of media and business. His downfall is a reflection of how fame can be weaponized, and how charisma can mask cruelty. As of late May 2025, the trial continues. The judge has imposed a media blackout on some of the more graphic evidence, citing concerns over leaks and victim safety. But even with limited access, the internet is flooded with speculation, analysis, and outrage. YouTubers are uploading daily breakdowns. TikTok is awash with short clips explaining the timeline. True crime podcasts have shifted focus entirely to follow the case in real time. Whether or not Sean Combs is convicted on all charges, his empire is already in ruins. His businesses are collapsing. Sponsors are fleeing, and his name, once synonymous with excellence, is now tied to allegations of abuse and power run amok. What happens next will depend on the outcome of the court. If found guilty, Diddy could face decades in prison, potentially a life sentence. If found innocent, he will still face civil lawsuits and likely never return to the heights he once enjoyed. Either way, the man who danced in shiny suits, shouted "Can't stop, won't stop," and dominated every stage he walked on, is now confined to a prison cell, his legacy forever altered. This case isn't just about a celebrity downfall. It's about the culture that enabled it, the silence that allowed it, and the bravery of victims who finally spoke out, risking everything to tell the truth. The fall of Diddy is more than a headline. It's a cultural reckoning, and it's far from over.